No, I disagree with that. I mean, I do think the high street will get smaller over time. I do think local governments need to be far more proactive in terms of bringing leisure offers in and perhaps turning some of the surplus space into housing. Certainly we don't need the amount of space going forward. But I think the great thing about the British population is they love a bit of shopping and it is part of their leisure activity. So no, I do think there is a future there, but we certainly need to evolve and the property needs to change as well.
I think it won't ever be the scale it is, the scale it has been. I think it will be smaller estates, more nimble estates, shorter leases. I think people will look at their estates very carefully as ambassadors of their brand, of a showcase of their business, and they will always have a very strong online offering if they're going to succeed.
It's certainly in a lot of distress for all sorts of reasons. I don't think the decline is terminal. I think people will always want to shop in physical shops to some degree. That said, I think the future high street will look very different to your typical high street now. I think there will be far fewer shops. I think there will be fewer people employed at shops. Hopefully there will be more people living in town centres and doing other things in town centres, such as visiting gyms or going out for meals and so on.
I'm not sure that there is a magic pill. I do understand how the scarcity of capital is preventing any entrepreneurial activity. It is a very toxic sector. Lots of people have lost lots of money, from landlords to investors. And so I do understand why the shortage of capital is there and how long it would last, but it's also stifling entrepreneurial activity. Entrepreneurial activity, such as it exists, is within the existing large retail businesses who are trying to be nimble, trying to invest in systems, trying to understand their consumers better, trying to engage with their consumers better. There is no one magic pill, and I don't think we should rely on the government to provide one in the form of any deal to be cut on business rates or anything like that, because I just don't think politically that's going to happen.
I don't think there is a single magic pill, no. I don't think that, that fiddling with business rates will do much to slow the long-term structural changes. I think people need to accept that high streets will be smaller. I think that policymakers need to accept that retail will employ fewer people in shops in the future than it has done in the past. And I think retailers need to accept that shops will become less profitable than they have been in the past.
I think the magic pill is to help increase the dwell time within your store. And that can come in a number of ways, not only in terms of offering more sort of leisure style, but also in terms of catering and food and experiences. I think also people are at times looking for knowledge and having knowledgeable staff to serve your customers is quite a key point of differentiation going forward.
Well, I think it's very important as a proportion of GDP, but I think it's also very, very important in terms of being an employer. It offers a huge number of people flexible hours as they kind of return to the workplace. And I think its demise will be felt very keenly up and down the country. I think it's one of those sectors that whose downturn will change the way of life in terms of people meeting each other out when they go down the shops, but actually the number of employees that the sector will ultimately require is going to be significantly different from what it was 5 years ago.